I just gave a tour to an incoming student, and she couldn't believe the connections that I have with professors. And she's like, that's just, not my experience at other places. I'm like, you will not regret choosing Brockport.
But you will have the time of your life here. I almost guarantee it.
Welcome back to the Tour of the Nest podcast. Joining us today is Alanna Pellicane. Alanna, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Good.
Good.
So I know there's a lot we're going to dive into today, but just to introduce yourself a little bit, give us 3 fun facts about yourself.
Well, my professor and I went skydiving together. I went to the world's largest math conference, and then I drive a race car.
That's a good 3. That sounds pretty fun to me. Well, I'm excited to get into it. What made you choose Brockport?
So I attended the Scholar Sleepover my senior year of high school, and you got to go to a couple classes, and you met with the faculty in your department, and everyone was just so kind, and I knew that was the environment I wanted to surround myself in. I mean, the way they were talking about their department too, it just seemed like they provide you with so many opportunities and experience, but really just the kindness really stuck to me.
How did you first get connected with people, like your first couple of weeks on campus?
So it definitely helps dorming and, having your roommates to have, they're your little buddies. And then so I actually went around campus, making interviews, asking people, what is 0 divided by 0? And the answer is undefined, but everyone would say 0 or 1. But just going up to those random people and just asking them a controversial question, can create that little, spark and create a bond with someone.
And were people well responsive when you did that?
Oh, definitely. Most people, said, yeah, I'm down to do a video. And then, they'll ask for your info or anything so they, can see it and, stay in touch with you.
Yeah, I think I agree. It's very interconnected on campus. You see people making videos all the time.
For sure, yeah.
And everyone is always super friendly. Is there any other weird, unorthodox ways that you met people early on?
Definitely going to events on campus. If you go to an event, it's just me and my friend, and then you start talking to these other people and you find out oh, we have the same interests. We should hang out more often.
So one of my roommates now, who I've lived with for 2 years and, have gone on trips with and stuff, we were in the same orientation group.
Okay.
But we didn't talk to each other the entire orientation. We both thought each other was a really strange guy.
Right.
And then we wound up living down the hall from one another, in our freshman dorm. And then we lived together in a dorm our second year and then moved into a house together the next year. So it's funny how, how you make connections.
Right.
With people.
Like you said, even, you're in the same room as someone, you see their face, but you don't talk to them. Eventually, because it's just a familiar face, eventually that could lead to a bond with someone.
Yeah. And I think that's, not that Brockport's a tiny school, because it's really not over 8,000 students, but it is funny, I think, how many familiar faces there are.
Definitely.
That you've maybe spoken to once or twice,
right,
but you see them all the time.
Exactly.
And I think that kind of makes Brockport feel so much more homey.
Yes, exactly. The community. And another reason why, I chose Brockport. But, those people, like you said, who you just smile at and they smile back, you don't even have to know them, but you see them all the time. So you just smile at them, that it honestly, it means a lot. And
yeah. So you started off with earth science education.
Yep.
And then how did you wind up adding the math major later on?
So I started out in Calc 1 and I had Rebecca Smith and I emailed her. I'm like, I enjoy your class so much. I'm going to genuinely miss taking math classes. She's like, if you have the time, maybe take a couple more math classes, maybe even a minor. So I added the minor, and then that minor turned into a major, and now here I am, and I love it.
So in your experience, have you gotten really close with any of your faculty or professors here?
So it's my research advisor. Could not be where I am without her. She's like a mom to me. We even went skydiving together. She's amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
How does that even come to be? How does that get planned?
Well, she texted me less than 12 hours before we jumped out of the plane. She's like, you want to go at 1:00 Sunday? I was like, sure.
Do you both have prior skydiving experience or?
She does.
But that was your first time?
That was my first time.
What was that? Did you hesitate?
Oh, no, not at all. It was so fun.
Well, what was that like?
I already saved up for another skydiving adventure.
All right, sweet, cool.
Yeah.
What is it? What is skydiving? Like, I've never been
It's so cool. It's like, you know, a lot of people are like, you lose your stomach. Like, I don't want to lose my stomach when I jump out of the plane, like how on a roller coaster. But you literally don't. The air's just like holding you up and you're just falling. But you're not, you don't, it doesn't even feel like you're falling.
How high up
falling.
were you when you got out of the plane? Do you
like,
know?
I think 13,000 feet.
So what do they teach you? Like, do you need to like finish a test or?
You have to do like a little pre-training. Like,
A little pre-training
like,
to jump on the
It's like literally
airplane.
like 2 minutes. They're like, put your arms like this and your body like this.
And that's it?
Yep.
That's the same as like going down a water slide.
Yeah. You've gone skydiving with your professors, haven't you?
No, I haven't. I'm really close with my professors for sure. Like,
Okay.
I've gone mini golfing.
Heck yeah.
I run into my one professor at the grocery store all the
Wow.
time.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Cool.
That's kind of where it ends so far. But no, I am really close to my professors though, and especially one of them who's taught me a lot of what I know. And I probably wouldn't be doing this if I didn't know her.
Yeah.
Like, we talk all the time, text about little things.
Yeah.
And she's both my advisor and one of my professors. And
Yeah.
I can always like spring questions off of her. And if I asked her to skydive, I don't think she would say yes, but that's probably less of a stain on our relationship and more of a wouldn't jump out the back of a plane.
Right.
But no, that's super cool though. And I think that, I mean, as far as everyone that I know, and obviously the two of us, people here are very close. I truly believe that there's a reason that the faculty and staff that work here do. And it's because it means a lot to them.
Exactly.
To support students, but also to, build real connections with students too.
I just gave a tour to an incoming student and she couldn't believe the connections that I have with professors. And she's like, that's just, not my experience at other places. I'm like, you will not regret choosing Brockport. You will have amazing connections with everyone.
I think whether you're in 400-person lectures or 15-person little classes, like there are avenues to like build those connections with professors.
For
I mean,
sure.
I walked down the hallway of the journalism department and I could say hello inside the door of every single office and everyone would say hello back.
Exactly.
And I could stop in at any time and it wouldn't be strange. So
For sure. That's what
really valuable.
Like, I just, like you said, going to everyone's offices and just like saying hello. Like I literally do that. I just, whenever I see that person, I'm like, hello. And then, we just start a conversation.
And I think that's one of I always say to people that I could never imagine myself at a different school. And I really think that's one of the biggest things is because from day one, even professors that got on my nerves or gave me low grades or I had an early class or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I knew that I could count on them. And like whatever they expected of me, I could, expect to get support back from them. And I've never had to question that.
I was listening to a podcast actually. And
this one?
Not this one. It's Mathematically Uncensored.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. But
shameless plug.
she was talking about the professor who does the podcast. She was saying when you are exploring colleges that you might attend, ask the students who currently go there, ask them, are you happy with where you chose with this school? And if someone were to ask me that, I'd say 100% yes. And if you go to the school, you will not regret going here. I have endless opportunities and I'm very thankful I chose this school.
Yeah, 100%. I fully agree. I've definitely said this before, but just asking for opportunities works so much more, like so often, so much more than you'd think it would. Literally just walking in and asking for a chance. That's everywhere in this school. And I'm so grateful for that. And so how, for a student who is maybe struggling to like build those relationships with especially like faculty or staff, whether they're intimidated or whatever. How do you like suggest to somebody that they get connected with some of those professionals and maybe get the help that they need?
Right. Just go in and, like, to their office hours and just talk. That's as simple as it is. But yeah, just go right into their office and just have a conversation with them. You know, it's the little conversations that build up to that relationship over time.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. I think that it is intimidating, especially like if you are a freshman.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the people that are here are here for a reason. And it is because they want to support students.
Exactly.
And you know, all it takes is walk into the office one time and then you might be in there like every single day.
Yeah. And that's exactly what I do. Every single day I'm in Rebecca Smith's office hours.
You just went to a conference with some of the world's biggest mathematicians. So how did having Rebecca enable you to go to that conference and present your work and make yourself proud, like you said?
Yeah, it definitely helped my confidence so much. I wouldn't even be doing any of it without her. So I'm very glad that she's by my side and, you know, really pushing me to do my best with everything.
So tell me a little bit about what it is you're researching in sort of terms that I can understand.
Right. So we're researching pattern avoidance in lattice and Yamanouchi words. So a lattice word, when you read it from left to right, always has more smaller numbers than larger numbers at any given point. For example, 0, 1, 0, 0 is a lattice word. And we're looking at patterns that we want to avoid. So for example, within 0, 1, 0, 0, we want to avoid 0, 1. So we have to create a theorem that avoids all of those words. Does that make sense?
A little. It makes a little bit of sense. And so when you went to the conference to present, what were some of like the findings that you were able to show off?
We're actually working on this one problem right now. There's nothing on the online encyclopedia of integer sequences. So if we come up with the theorem that avoids the specific pattern, I'm hopefully ready to get published with my research.
Fingers crossed. The online encyclopedia of integer sequences.
Yes. Sorry, it's a mouthful. OEIS. You might hear it.
OEIS is way better.
Yes.
I like OEIS for sure.
Okay.
So that's kind of your goal then, is to find parts of this field that haven't really been seen yet? Yeah,
exactly. It's just bringing new information to the table that other people can use for their potential research someday.
Awesome. And like, how does that feel? How does it feel to be like, I'm discovering math? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And actually, that's a hot topic. Was math discovered or invented?
That's really funny, actually, because my brother and I were playing a game the other day where he was arguing that algebra was man-made. And I said, no, that can't be true. That's so funny that you bring that up. Right. So what do you think?
Well, when I discuss it with Rebecca Smith, I say, so like this was never invented. I use that phrase, but you know, as I've thought about it, like, yeah, it's definitely been discovered. Math has always existed. We're just finding these new things, you know?
So how does it feel to be a discoverer of math?
Not gonna lie, really weird.
Surprising?
Yes. I have a lot of self-doubt.
Like imposter syndrome?
Yes, exactly.
How do you push that down when you're, I don't know, in the crosswalk with somebody that you've read their book, or sitting down at dinner with somebody who, you know, is teaching this stuff? Like, how do you handle that?
It's hard, you know, like we said, imposter syndrome, but you have to remind yourself that you earned your way here and you would not be here if you were not meant to be here. Yeah,
I think that's really big. And I think that's something that anybody can learn from, you know, whether it's you're a mathematician or you make videos like me or whatever. If you work hard and you earn your spot somewhere,
exactly.
You have to kind of do the most that you can with it.
Yeah.
So we kind of talked a bit earlier about like burnout and how you're kind of maybe scaling back some things as time moves forward. So what are you going to try and fill some free time with? Some free time that you're going to give yourself?
Yeah, so for free time, I mean, I do photography, so hopefully I can go to more on-campus events and take photos. I took some photos for like RA events last semester. I'm hoping to go to more of those and capture those moments. And I sometimes make little videos of like, how the event, went and everything. It definitely gives my mind a break because as a math major, you're constantly doing work. People say, oh, you must be naturally good at math. Personally, I don't think I'm naturally good at math. I just have to learn the math and put in the work, and then you can do the math. You just have to learn it.
Yeah. Does that ever like frustrate you?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I wish I could, be that picture perfect person and just be able to do the math in one time. But the repetition is key. And you just have to constantly be doing those problems.
No, yeah, definitely. And I think that's the same as anything, especially when you're in college. Like there's very few things I think that every step of learning it comes naturally. So yeah, it definitely takes work. I think that's a really good mindset, important mindset. So when you have any, what else do you like to do in your free time?
So I drag race over the summer. I race a 70 Camaro. I started out in a junior dragster, but that's what I do. And it's a lot of fun. My whole family does it.
How old were you when you first got behind the wheel?
I think 9 or 10. I think I was 10 when I actually started driving, but I got it for Christmas when I was 9. I mean, it's a cool little fun fact. Not many people get to say that they, drive a race car that goes, over 130 miles an hour. So it's cool. It definitely... It's like a whole nother community of us, us drag racers. So
I heard through the grapevine that you're thinking about going to Iceland.
I am. There's so much geology there. And with my earth science major, I geek out about rocks. So I am excited to make a bunch of videos there and like teach people, about all of the cool, basalts, cliffs that are there. It's so cool. But I might be going with a few people from Brockport.
Do you name your top 5 favorite rocks?
Oh, goodness. Well, okay. So when I was just in Arizona, I got scoria, which is an extrusive volcanic rock. And it was so cool because they were just laying everywhere. And it was the coolest thing. And then also when I was in Arizona, we found real geodes just in the wild. We went to Geode Hill and there were geodes everywhere. Basalt is really cool because, they're from volcanoes. It's hard. There's so many. I love fossils, though. I mean, that's not really a rock, but I love fossils. They tell stories. I don't know. I have a lot of favorite rocks.
Fair enough.
I have, like, when I move from dorm to dorm, I have over 100 pounds of rocks to move. I'm not exaggerating. My family hates me on move out day.
So I work in the mailroom.
Okay. Do you see a lot of my packages?
Well, I don't. I honestly
get packages every single day.
Okay, then yes, then I do.
Okay.
What? I don't even remember what semester this was. We had boxes of rocks.
Wasn't me.
Okay, it wasn't you.
It wasn't me.
Okay, then you're clear.
Someone else. Okay.
Because somebody shipped like 8 boxes of rocks to the mailroom. It wasn't nice. It wasn't nice at all.
Gneiss is a very cool rock, by the way. I love gneiss.
That's
one of my
favorites.
Yes.
G at the beginning.
Yes.
I remember that from our science.
Yes. Nice job.
I liked our science.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, the tables were fun for sure.
They're fun. They're very helpful. Shale is so cool too because you can find fossils in shale.
I like solving like puzzles. And I didn't like earth science.
So you should be a math major.
No.
Okay.
I didn't like earth science in general, but there's a unit where you have to like identify rocks.
Yeah.
And there's like a table and you basically like go down and it's like,
if it has this, then it's this.
Yeah,
I liked that. If it's this and this, then it's this.
I liked that. All right, well, I think that just about does it. Alanna, thank you again for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
It's been a good time. Do you have any parting words for the people out there?
Nope.
All right, well, I guess that does it then. Thank you so much for watching this episode of the Toward the Nest podcast. See ya.